but the ultimate goal is Houston and being mindful of that. So we'll take it a week at a time with him. So I did want to be able to, let you guys know about that based on sitting down with Reggie and with Matthew and talking with Dr. Watkins. Feel like that's the smart thing to do, a week at a time with him.
So you don't anticipate that he will practice at all next week?
No, do not anticipate that. And but I don't have any more concerns. The goal in mind is Houston, and I do think that this is the best plan for him. And I wanted to let you guys know about that.
Well, it's just, if you had hoped and expected that he would
I'm not
be
a doctor.
available. I know.
Yeah.
But
so
this
I'm giving you
doesn't
the
raise-
information that I know. It
No
does
more
not worry
concern?
me. What I probably should have done is say we're taking it a week at a time. But I don't have any reason to be concerned based on the information that's been given. And with that being said, I don't think we can be smart enough with somebody like Matthew. And I think it's best for him, best for our football team. And, and that's kind of the plan that we'll have moving forward. And so I know that kind of, will surprise people. But I did want to at least let you guys know as we're kind of, being fluid with this. But I don't have any reason for concern. But I do think it's the smart thing just based on September 7th or whenever the date of our opener is, with that being the main goal in mind for us.
So if there's no setback, does that just mean it's been a slower recovery process?
No, I wouldn't even say that, Adam. I would just say that as you start to really talk to, you get the different opinions on what is the best way to allow him to be as healthy as possible for 17 games and then hopefully earn the right to be able to do that thereafter. You're really saying, okay, let's really gain all of the information and we'll take it a week at a time is kind of the approach that we're going to take. We do have some target goals in mind, but similar to last week, what I don't want to do is get ahead of myself. I think we have to be fluid and flexible, and ultimately this is what's best for Matthew and for our football team, and we have to be ready to adjust and adapt, and I don't have any reason to be, concerned. It's just going to be a little bit longer in terms of you guys seeing him out on the field than maybe what I had originally anticipated, but that's going to be okay, and we'll handle it the right way.
Sean, what stands out to you in camp this year as opposed to similar this time last year and where you guys are because you were so much younger then?
Yeah, I think it's hard to compare year to year. I think what I've liked about this team is the attention to detail. I think they've stacked some good days. We just finished up our 5-day acclimation period. I think guys are competing. I think it'll be good to be able to put the pads on, to be able to add some different schemes that are more in alignment with playing real football. I thought there were some really good opportunities for us to be able to learn from today where emotions get high, guys are competing, and how do we really push the envelope where there's that controlled aggression and we're not doing anything that hurts each other or hurts our team if we were to get stupid penalties and in a real game. And so I think that's what's great about these practices is let's mimic and emulate game-like situations as much as possible, and then be able to really continue to test ourselves both mentally and physically.
Sean, we didn't see Pooh Paul or Kello Witherspoon out there today. Do you have any updates on them?
Yeah, Pooh is we're just being smart with Pooh. He's got a little bit of a calf, and Akello is just feeling a little something, so he'll be day to day.
Is it like a sickness?
No, just in his a calf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, both of those guys.
From Jordan Whittington and just his development over this camp?
I've been super impressed with him. He's done such a great job of, you look at a guy that came in and was mature beyond his years as a rookie last year. He's got the ability to play all three spots. He can really compete in the run game, and I think he's really continuing to increase his route volume. He's played really well. He's strong. He's so conscientious. He's just one of those guys that you just don't bet against. He's a good football player. You can't have enough guys like that. We love Jay Witt.
Jordan and Blake have both talked about how year one was learning what to do in the offense, year two was learning how to do it. What is the biggest part about making that jump in terms of understanding the offense in your second year in the league?
I think it's just getting reps. We talk about it all the time, Adam. Repetition is the mother of learning. I think guys get more and more comfortable the more that they play, the more that they really understand, what's going on the other side of the ball and kind of what's the intent of what we're really trying to be able to get done. But those guys are both so conscientious, and really that's consistent with a lot of the guys that we have on our football team. And I think that allows them to just get better because they're conscientious. And, you'll hear me say it over and over again, stacking blocks. And it gets, it can be boring, but man, it's the only way that you continuously grow and continuously go in a direction that we want. And both those guys are in the midst of doing that.
Could you share your thoughts on McVay Davante so far?
He's been awesome. He's a great communicator. He's got great command. He's got the ability to elevate people. He's got a great feel for attacking the football. He got another punch out today. But I just like the way that this guy's got a great vibe. He's just got some natural leadership traits and communication skills where he understands what's going on from an all-22 perspective. And I think when you're talking about a guy that's at that inside linebacker position, it's key and critical, and he's done a great job leading the way for that group.
Sean, what would you have to say to Jared after that little scuffle that they had on the field?
Just kind of what we talked about, controlled aggression. I like the way that he responded, but part of one of the things that makes Jared great is that edge that he plays with. I can remember it's the same things that Aaron and I used to talk about when he was playing, and you're always right on that line of using the aggressiveness, that edge, the ability to be able to use. He likes to talk shit, and so you don't want to take that away from him, but you want to make sure that you're able to reset from one snap to the next. We always talk about let's respond, let's not react, and I like the way that he finished practice.
Coach, what do you think about the shadow program and just being able to give back to these high school coaches?
I'm not familiar with that.
What do you think about what Josh Purdy has done so far with you?
He's been good. I think Josh, I thought he finished really strong. I'm just super impressed with his mental resolve. I think there was some instances last year where you could just see he just got better and better as the year progressed. He's got a consistent process that he commits to, and I don't think you can take for granted the rapport between him, between Ethan, and between Alex, and that's a big deal as those guys are continuing to grow together. But I really like where he's at.
Couple more guys. Puka obviously missed a lot of camp, and then this year he says when Davante came in, it was important for him to step back and let Davante lead. What do you see in that leadership and that relationship this early in camp?
Well, I think there's a great humility by Puka, always continuously try to learn, and I think that's consistent. Davante is no different. They're always trying to move in the right direction, but Davante, similar to Cooper, has a bunch of experience. Puka was fortunate enough to learn from Cooper in the first couple years of his career, and then when Davante's so willing to share, he's got such an amazing football acumen. Like I mentioned the other day, he sees the game through the lens of a quarterback. There was a specific route the other day that Puka did a great job of running, and you ask him in a team meeting, what were you thinking here? And he gives reverence to Davante about a key tip that he gave him to be able to execute it at a high level. And when you have guys that are doing that for each other, that's special stuff. You guys hear me talk about all the time. Football is the greatest team sport that there is. And when you have teammates that are pushing one another, when there's that mutual respect that exists and that appropriate humility, a lot of good things can follow.
What else have you learned about Davante that you didn't know? Even though he's been around forever.
I think you're getting to know, the things that are important to him. His family, what a great father, what a great husband he is. He's obviously he's picked up a real passion for golf, and he's pretty damn good at it. But he's also pretty good at football and passionate about that. So just a special human being, and obviously he's been a great player. So excited to be able to partner up with him.
Brings that into the room too, though. Some of the
he does, right? Yeah, absolutely. And that's just natural for who he is, which is great.
Coach, even though we're not in pads, even though we're not in pads, Kyron Williams and Blake, can you just speak on productivity from you two?
Yeah, they've been good. I think that running back room as a whole, Kyron's been outstanding. I think he looks explosive. He's got this great energy that everybody thrives off of, but I think he's really understanding, how to really be able to set the example with his play, with the way that he goes about his daily rhythm. I've been super impressed with him, and then I think, Blake's done a great job. You can see he's more and more comfortable. Had the forearm injury at the end of the year last year. But he has been great. I think, he's one of those guys. What I think is really cool is whether you're talking about a Jordan Whittington, a Blake Corum, a Kyron Williams, you don't bet against these guys. These guys are going to figure it out. They're mentally and physically tough people. They're resilient. They've shown consistent instances of being able to respond, but also to stay humble through the good times. And those are the kinds of guys we're looking for. Okay? Thank you, guys. All righty.
What's up, guys?
Good.
Ooh, this is very temporary, huh?
How's that room coming along there? Like just your own room and where you see the development and Obviously, you're one of the new leaders now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been real smooth so far, man. We built a good foundation during the off-season program and had a lot of fun getting to know each other, getting on the same page with the cues and learning the offense together. And me bringing in my experience, having been in this offense a few times, Raiders that last year, the Jets, Packers. I've been around it quite some time, so it's fun seeing how every team kind of uses it differently. And I think I've really been enjoying the way the mastermind has been able to kind of conduct some stuff over there. Well, the masterminds, it's a lot of people involved, but it's just been fun. And like I said, the best part for me is just getting to know the guys and hanging out with them every day.
Obviously, you're just at the point of the year where we're getting reps. What's the challenge when Matthew's not here, though? Getting quality reps.
Well, it's good. Obviously, on paper, you'd love to have everybody, be healthy, but that's just not the reality of how football goes. And there's going to be days where maybe I'm not going or, somebody else isn't. And you just find ways to still make it work with the communication in the room. And the classroom work is a lot more vital than what people realize as far as how much goes into it. We're here all day at training camp and only on the field for a short time. So when we get out there, just the talks that we have, him watching, commenting on stuff even today during practice, whether it was something good or something, the quarterback could have done differently, I could have done differently. So just that communication makes up for a lot of lack of the time on the field that we get at this time.
When Puka goes to you and says he wants you to lead the position group drills, just what was your reaction to that when he wants to do it out of respect for you?
Well, I laughed at it first because he was saying it almost like he'd been wanting to say it for a long time, but he didn't really know how to say that, and he was obviously trying to honor him, I guess, and making sure he didn't feel like I was trying to step on his toes or anything, trying to bump him, the number 2 in the line, and it's not important to me what number I am in the line, so I just try to get out there and we talk through a lot of stuff, and then I try to demonstrate it, so I think it helps a little bit for me to go first and him not have to run a slant, catch the ball, and then peek at me while I'm, going to do it. So it makes sense, and yeah, I love to lead every drill, just having the most experience and a lot to say about different ways that I do things, so I think it can help.
What advice do you give to him? He's obviously looking to you for a little bit of mentorship. What have you shared with him recently at camp that might be of interest?
I mean, I'm not like just this walking, like, all-knowing, like, I'm not like a walking wise man where I'm just trying to drop little trinkets on them all day, but it's more like whenever it comes up, you're watching something on tape and somebody, they run a route maybe they didn't love or they didn't understand how to get open versus certain coverage, and me having, seen a lot of doubles and, different brackets and different things, I've had to look at coverage differently than other people and kind of take a deeper dive, and that part is actually like some of the most enjoyable part of this thing for me, the cerebral game. So me being able to talk through all this stuff with them, I mean, it's always something every day, multiple times a day, but it's hard to kind of think about it on the spot.
Sean McVay talked about this mutual respect that you guys have for one another and just like kind of the organization. Has anything surprised you about acclimating to the organization and also just about getting to know Puka a little bit better?
I guess by surprise, I mean, surprising in good ways, like just not expecting things to be as good as what they seem, and because that's often not how it goes. It's usually not as sweet as what, everything that glitter ain't gold, but this is looking pretty golden over here. And that doesn't, like I said to Sean earlier, it doesn't guarantee us to go and win a Super Bowl or win 10 games or 1 game. It just gives you opportunity when you have the right people and the right mindset starting it off to put you in a good spot. And I feel it's a prerequisite to be able to be a championship caliber team.
Some of the younger guys have talked about you relating to them, that they're not just going to learn from you, you're going to learn from them.
1,000,000%.
What have you, what do you draw from maybe some of these younger guys?
I mean, it's not as much of like, they're going to open their mouth and say something I haven't heard, but, different techniques. Everybody's got the wheel's always being reinvented, and, you can only do so much with certain routes, but I've seen stuff from even Kanate since he's been out here, and that's opened my eyes. Not necessarily like, oh my God, I've never seen that, but it's, him changing up his pace and working through some things, seeing some of the errors and the trial and error, I guess I could say, and just watching, even over the course of 3 practice days, how he can transform and, go and kill some of our better corners on some amazing routes. So it's fun for me just watching the growth of him, talking through it, seeing somebody fail, doing something a certain way, and then go out there and then knock it out the park. Like, I feel like a proud dad watching him out there.
Sean said that one of the things he enjoys about practice the last couple of days have been conversations with you and Puka just on the field. What do you take from those conversations?
I I value it every time. I mean, it may seem organic, but sometimes I seek it. I'll see him over there, and I'll go walk over, and I just know he's gonna say something either funny or something that we can all grow from. He's just that type of person, and it's become a really natural connection, between him and I. And it was something that even the first time I saw him in the building when I went to sign, it was like almost like a big exhale that we got the opportunity to do it together. So I think at this point we're both just cherishing it and going day by day, just enjoying the process.
Speaking of funny or fun, do you have any stories at all you could tell us that we don't know about, like in the room or something out of practice since you've been here? It's got to be something good.
Yeah, the good stuff I won't say on to KTLA, can't hear those. But
sort of good stuff.
To be honest, the best stuff I can't hear. And it's not even like inappropriate.
No,
it's just that it's just the way this goes. It's better kept in house sometimes.
What's the last one right here? What's the best question one of the young guys has asked you?
I would say probably something having to do with coverage, because they see me go and win on a lot of choice routes, and in their mind they're just thinking like it's like a superhero doing it, when in fact it's really, if I broke it down to you the way I'm talking to them, I don't know if you could go beat one of these guys, but maybe one of these guys, you could probably go and have a better chance at winning consistently. So I just try to break it down to them. We have some of those questions that come up, and they ask me, how are you winning? What are you doing? And I just try to simplify and tell them that a lot of times I just know what they're running. So if you know what they're running and what their job is, you can use that against them to, buy yourself more room, more time, more space, and that equals more wins.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, you guys.